Hi everyone, my name is Taylor Sparks. I'm the Editor-in-Chief of Integrating Materials and Manufacturing Innovation. Today's paper deals with defect detection in printed metal parts. It comes to us from researchers at Penn State University, Hasbrouck, Miller, and Martin. Now specifically, we know that many different alloys, as you use them, they're going to have to be qualified. And that means you're probably going to test a bunch of different print parameters. And then for each one of those, you're going to have to explore what was the defect concentration. And that typically is a human process. It is slow, not efficient. So the fundamental question they're asking in this paper is, can we automate metallographic quality control, which has been done before, right? People have looked at that. But specifically, this group is looking only at optical microscopy. Now that's a difference, right? Normally you have to rely on more expensive techniques like scanning electron microscopy or even CT. So can they do it with just optical? Maybe to start with, we can look at this first figure, right? This is showing you an optical micrograph sort of as imaged. And sure enough, you can see a bunch of tiny little defects present in there. But actually, there's different types of defects when you zoom in. Not all these are the exact same. They show here in this table that you have three different types of defects. You've got lack of fusion, you have cracks, and then you've got your pores or inclusions. One of the concepts they put forward here is that you should be able to simplify the descriptors to do this. Like, what if you only took two geometric descriptors, the total defect area and the aspect ratio? Here you can see with lack of fusion, gas pore, and a crack, that these should be changing. And sure enough, when you plot those, the defect area versus the aspect ratio, the blue, the green, and the red are the different types of defects, are showing up in sort of different regions. So maybe this is something that a classifier could catch on. They actually test this on 135 training data points. They use 90% for training, 15 test points, 10% for the training data set, and they tried two different algorithms. Here's the results for a Naïve Bayes classifier. Obviously for the test data set, that's looking pretty good. Most of the data is along this diagonal where you'd expect it to be. When they do cross folds, you start to see some errors as outliers. Looking at the random forest results, they're actually not quite as good, which makes sense because these regions, a Naïve Bayes classifier, which uses a probability thresholding technique, is different than the random forest, which tries to do rigid sort of lines. It makes sense why it's actually slightly outperforming, because there is some ambiguity here. And so the Naïve Bayes is actually doing slightly better. They were able to then actually turn this loose on thousands of images that they collected, because when they were doing the parameter testing for this new laser powder bed fusion printing, they actually printed 42 different samples. So you have many different images that they need to assess. They were able to classify thousands of defects and do that without human intervention, which is pretty great. They actually found that it was consistently outperforming the sort of standard automatic thresholding that would be built into tools like ImageJ. It particularly started to excel when you were in very dense parts, when they're like 99.5% dense is where they saw some of the biggest improvements. Maybe one more thing to show you is this really cool, the classifiers are great, but the thresholding technique might be the thing that people will build off of this work to actually use. It's pretty clever. What value do you use to identify where pores start to show up? If you look at these images, right, as you adjust the thresholding, you'll see that different points will emerge. So is that background noise or is that pores? Their approach here, which they show here in this logit versus threshold, is a way to actually learn that threshold for different materials. So instead of forcing every image to have the same threshold, because these will be slightly different if they're collected in an optical micrograph, the authors are sort of automatically determining what this optimal threshold should be for each individual micrograph, which is pretty slick. So for additive manufacturing, this work provides what I think I would consider a fairly inexpensive, a scalable quality control workflow that only requires optical microscopy and open source software. You're not relying on SEMs or CT, and yet it's giving you pretty good ability to quantify what you ultimately care about when you're printing new parts. I hope you'll read all about it in the latest issue of IMMI.